Deep in the heart of a vast green forest, there was a magical tree known only to a few. The tree was old, its trunk twisted and wide, and its leaves shimmered with every color of the rainbow. It was called the Whispering Tree, and it had a secret that no one else knew. Amelia, a young girl who lived near the edge of the forest, loved to explore. She was a curious soul who spent her afternoons wandering through the woods, admiring the flowers, listening to the birds sing, and watching the squirrels scamper around. One warm afternoon, while Amelia was picking wildflowers, she noticed something unusual. A soft whisper seemed to float through the air, barely audible. She turned, looking around, but there was no one in sight. The wind rustled the leaves, and the whisper grew louder as though it was calling her name. "Amelia," the voice seemed to say, "come closer." Intrigued and a little nervous, Amelia followed the voice through the forest, pushing aside the thick branches and tall grasses. The whisper led her deeper into the woods, where the trees grew taller, and the air was like fresh pine and earth. Finally, after what felt like hours, Amelia came to a large clearing. In the middle stood the Whispering Tree. Its wide, ancient trunk was covered in moss, and its branches stretched high into the sky, with leaves that sparkled like stars in the sunlight. Amelia stood in awe, staring at the Whispering Tree. "Hello, Amelia," the Whispering Tree said, its voice soft and soothing. "I've been waiting for you." Amelia's eyes widened, and she exclaimed, "You can talk?" The Whispering Tree chuckled gently and announced, "Yes, I can. I've watched over this forest for many years, but I've never spoken to anyone until now. I see that you are special, Amelia. You are kind to the animals, you respect the forest, and you always listen to nature." Amelia felt a sense of wonder wash over her. "I love the forest," she said. "I always listen to the trees, the birds, and the wind. They have so much to say if you just pay attention to them." The Whispering Tree nodded and said, "That is why I have chosen you to be my friend. You see, Amelia, this forest holds many secrets. It has stories to tell, wisdom to share, and lessons to teach. But only those who truly listen can hear them," the Whispering Tree continued. Amelia sat down at the base of the Whispering Tree, eager to learn more. "What kind of secrets?" she asked, intrigued. The Whispering Tree's leaves shimmered in the breeze, and the whispers began again, but this time they were clearer. "There are stories of the creatures who live here, of the wise owl who knows all the paths, the busy bees who help the flowers grow, and the gentle deer who protect the forest from harm. There are also stories of the dangers that threaten this place, the storms that tear down trees, the droughts that dry up rivers, and the humans who sometimes forget to care for nature," the tree said. Amelia listened intently, her heart filled with a deep respect for the forest and its creatures. She realized that she had never truly understood just how important the forest was, not only to the animals but also to the balance of the world. "I want to help," Amelia said after a moment of silence. "I want to protect the forest and make sure it stays safe." The Whispering Tree's branches swayed as if nodding in approval. "You already help, Amelia. Your respect for the forest and your kindness to the animals are the first steps. But there is something more you can do. The forest is in danger, and only someone with a pure heart and a listening ear can save it," the Whispering Tree said. Amelia's eyes grew wide. She asked, "What's happening to the forest?" The Whispering Tree's voice became solemn. "There are humans in the village nearby who are cutting down the trees to build more houses and roads. They don't understand how important this forest is. They don't see the connections between the trees, the animals, and the land. If they continue, the balance of nature will be destroyed, and the forest will no longer thrive," the tree responded. Amelia's heart sank. She couldn't imagine a world without the forest. "What can I do?" she asked, feeling determined. "You must speak to the village," the whispering tree said. "You must teach the people what you have learned, to listen, respect, and care for the forest. If you do this, the village will understand, and they will protect the forest, not destroy it." Amelia nodded, her mind racing. She knew that it wouldn't be easy. The villagers were busy with their own lives, and many of them didn't think about the forest the way she did. But she also knew that she couldn't ignore what she had learned. She had to speak up. The next day, Amelia gathered her courage and went to the village. She asked to speak to the village elders, who were wise but often very focused on progress and building. She told them about the whispering tree and the lessons it had shared with her. At first, the elders were skeptical. They didn't understand why the forest was so important. They weren't sure what they could do, but Amelia told them the stories she had heard, the stories of the owl, the bees, and the deer. She spoke of the dangers of cutting down too many trees and how the forest's balance could be destroyed. As she spoke, something shifted in the villagers' hearts. They began to see the forest not as a place to take from, but as a living, breathing entity that needed to be cared for. They began to realize that they too were part of the forest story. After much discussion, the village elders agreed to stop cutting down the trees. They promised to find new ways to build and expand without harming the forest, and they invited Amelia to help guide them, using the wisdom she had learned from the whispering tree. Amelia felt a sense of peace fill her heart. She had listened, and in doing so, she had saved the forest. The villagers were now allies, and together they would work to protect the forest for generations to come. From that day forward, Amelia continued to visit the whispering tree. She often sat under its branches, listening to its stories and learning more about the world around her. And the forest, once again, thrived in harmony with the village. As Amelia grew older, she became known as the protector of the forest. People from other villages came to her for advice on how to live in balance with nature, and she shared the lessons she had learned from the whispering tree. Every time she walked through the forest, Amelia could hear the soft whispers of the trees, reminding her that the most important thing in life was to listen to the world around her, to the creatures who lived there, and to the wisdom that nature had to offer.